not your first time to see me, eh? You too, eh? Well, where are you now? In a restaurant? You're home.
No, I'm at the office.
Oh, nice office.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful.
Thanks. Olga, where is Alex?
Alex, where is Alex?
Alex is a representative of D8 Corporation. Alex, do you hear us? So guys, we have 3 minutes left to start. We have everyone is here, Gerald, Harold, and Alex. Alex, do you hear us? Olga, could you please give a quick call to Alex just to be sure that he is okay? Alex, now I see you, but I don't hear you. I think something with your audio. No, you are not. Mute and mute. Olga, could you please help me to unmute Alex? Alex, I think you need to reconnect yourself. It's because you are unmuted. Alex, I've asked you to unmute yourself. I think now you can do it.
Yes,
Lovely,
now I can hear you.
Beautiful. Yeah, we see you, we hear you. I think we are well done. So guys, I think this is the time to start, I would say, my very first webinar I'm doing, where today we are streaming this webinar on our YouTube channel. Also, we are recording this webinar for those who would like to get back to some things. It will be an option definitely to to watch it again on our YouTube channel. Also, guys, for those who are observers and viewers, please leave your comments on the chat. You do have this option. Today, we have 3 key speakers. First of all, we have Harold Chen from Vanstone Electronics from Beijing, China. He will take over a part in regards to hardware, and he is going to explain the latest technologies in regards to hardware part of smart point of sale machines. Then we have Gerald Antwi, who will tell us about the point of sale part of the acquiring business process. He will explain us more how to manage the whole fleet of smart point of sales terminals deployed into the fields. Also, we are having Alex Romanovs from D8 Corporation from Latvia, Riga, who will tell about their core solution dedicated as a processing solution. By going through these three vendors, we will cover the whole vertical of acquiring business, especially in regards to point of sale when a card presented acquiring business. So, and the only level left here will be left here uncovered is a payment system or payment scheme like Visa, MasterCard, American Express. But we are not targeting to the audience which is not familiar with the whole vertical and how payment systems work and why and how to integrate the processing center to the payment system. Today we are expecting tech savvy and technology savvy participants and viewers and visitors for the webinar who has enough clue and enough experience within payment acceptance market, especially on the area of on-land payments. It's because today our speakers will cover, I would say, the latest pieces of technologies in regards to card-present payment acceptance. The agenda for this webinar is the next. The first speaker will be Harold Chen, a hardware vendor. Then will be Gerald Antwi, who will explain a host solution. The third speaker will be Alex Romanovs, who will close the presentation part of the webinar. All of three speakers have their technology to present, have their slides to share with you. After these three key speeches, we expect each will take between 15 to 20 minutes. We will have a proper Q&A session. Again, feel free to drop your questions on the chat or just send us your email address as your email. We will ask the speakers, and also speakers will clarify those areas that probably will be missed, or you will need to dig a little bit deeper into the areas they would like to cover. Thank you for joining the webinar. We are hoping to host many of similar card-present payment-oriented webinars in the future. Today, we're talking with vendors of the solution. Then we will invite more users and payment systems representatives as well. The first speaker is Harold Chen. I am happy to pass a word to him. Harold, please come on in and give your pitch in regards to hardware part of the technology.
Thank you, Costa, and thanks for your invitation about this webinar, and really appreciate all guys, and really glad to share the time with you. So let me, so Costa, I cannot share my presentation to the screen. It's prohibited. So how can, it's prohibited by the host to share the screen.
Give me a sec, leave it with me. You can just go with your, yeah, now you can do it.
Okay.
We see your screen.
Okay, So this is Harold, and I'm coming from China, and our company name is Vanstone Electronic. And I will do the presentation in around 3 parts. The first one is about who is us, about us. I'll introduce our company briefly, and the second part is about our product. So I'll introduce about what kind of product we can provide to you, especially about the smart post terminal. The third part is about our service, how we can do the cooperate. So let me explain you about Vanstone Electronic. So you can see Isino Corporation actually is our mother companies, and it's a stock list company in the Shanghai Stock Exchange Center, and the biggest shareholder is the government actually. And there are 3 biggest sections of Isino Corporation. The first one is e-tax, the second one is financial payment, and third one is IoT, Internet of Things. About the e-tax, currently Isino Corporation occupy around more than 60% of the market share of the tax system provided, and also the hardware. The second part is financial payment. Actually, Vanstone Electronic belongs to these sections. Okay, so this is our mother companies. So I will go forward about our company, Vanstone. So Vanstone is founded on 2007, and before that, actually, we are the dealers of Verifone in China market, and we are the #1 of the sales in the whole China market. I think around 2001 to 2007, and from 2007 we established our own brand, and also established the company name as the Vanstone Electronic. And from 2008, we become the key supplier of ICBC and the CCB Bank. From 2017, our mother company, Isino Corporation, invested in. And we began our international market actually in 2014. And in 2016, we become the top 5 banks in China about their post vendors supplier. And 2019, and we promoted international business to the strategic level. Okay, this is our company productions. And actually we have two centers, one located in Beijing and the second located in Shenzhen. And we have around 400 engineers. And 20% of them is above master degrees. And around 30%, more than 10 years experience in the payment industries. As I said, that before that we are also do the payment business with Verifone. So this is our factories, and it's around 5,000 factory buildings, over 200 workers, and also a lot of part-time workers. And the capacity for producing is about 1.5 million pieces. Mostly it's based on A90, the smart post terminals. This is our headquarters. So this is actually which I worked, Isino Park. And this is certifications for the factory, as you can see, SO, and also the certifications needed for the UniPay here in China. And this is the business worldwide sales. Now we already succeeded to enter into the market now. As you can see, it includes Africa, European, Middle East, Latin American. Now we already around more than 50 countries. We already succeeded to launch our hardware there. And this is our strong client. Actually, our the top line is about the 5 biggest bank in China, and we especially about ICBC. Now we can occupy around 80% of their POS hardware supplier. And the second line is about the overseas market, Safra Pay, Sberbank Bank, VTB Bank, and Kaspi Bank. Okay, the second part is about our product. Currently, we have 5 categories about the hardware. The first one is about Android POS. The second one is the traditional POS, actually, based on Linux or our own VOS. The third one is about the QR code. As you know, the QR code is much popular now in China. And now I'm sure that in the future, maybe the overseas market will be also very popular. And the third part is about the pin pad. And the fifth one is about the MPOS. I just go browse about our product. This is the certifications. So as you know that we are doing the EFT POS, so it's required that we need to secure our product. So most of our product already go to the certifications like PCI, EMV, PayPass, PayWave, GCB, MX. So about our product advantages, so we have divided into 4 parts. The first one is about secure. As I assure you that we already passed the certifications required by the banks or the our merchants. The second one is about the quality. We already in this industry for around 10 years, and there are around millions of pieces already into the market, and we got good priced by our client. So the quality is also can be assured. The third one is about diversity. As you can see, we have 5 categories to cover all the merchant needs and our clients' needs. The fourth is cost effective. I think PayMob can know such things because we also cooperate with some years and provide the cost effective and support for their solutions. It's mostly based on the hardware. And this is our Android POS, our best sales into the market. Now we have actually 2 versions of these devices. The one is based on the Android 5, and we also upgraded into Android 7 as the market need. And this is A70 with the 5-inch. And this is the A70 SV without the card readers. Maybe some text projected they needed, so we created a new one. This is a traditional POS V71 with the Linux operation system and with the ARM11 CPU and large volume of the memory. And now we also upgraded from the 2G to 4G. So it can support 4G and plus Wi-Fi now. This is our new model V72. Also, it's based on our own VOS, but also support the 4G and Wi-Fi. This is our countertop POS based on the Linux. Compared to V71, this is just without the batteries. This is our mispin pad, which is highly used here in China, contact with the cashier. This is our pin pad, V10. This is the MPOS. For the MPOS, we have 2 models. One model with the communication model, like 4G and 2G Wi-Fi. And we have another one, VM30, without the communication model, but support the Bluetooth, which can connect with your smart tablet or smartphone. This is a QR code. This is QR code. And the third one is about our service. Currently, we have the marketing support for our client. The branding build, as you can see, Asino actually is a state-owned brand, and we promote not only by Vanstone ourselves and also our mother companies. So this is the brand building, and the second one is a marketing promotion actually. So each year we participate a lot of exhibitions to promote our product and also our brand. And the second one is the product training. It's divided into the software training and the hardware trainings. to guarantee that we have a good after-sales service to our clients. The third one is about our technical support. And we have our own team, around more than 20 pieces, full-time to the overseas support and help you to participate about the bank tender and also your application development. Okay, Costa, I finished my presentation. Actually, mostly based on our company and our hardwares. So if you have any questions, so I can answer.
Yeah, Harold, thank you for your presentation. It was really good and explicit in terms of digging deeply into the possibilities of smart point of sale devices. I would mention that we are getting some questions on our chat and on my email address dedicated for the webinar. We will have a Q&A session after all speakers. That's why I can ask you to switch off your screen sharing, and I'm happy to invite to take a word of about the payment gateway by Gerald Antwi. Gerald, are you still with us? Please step in and do your part of about payment gateway. You could unmute yourself. Yeah, we see your screen now.
Okay.
We hear you.
Okay, so good afternoon once again, colleagues across the globe. I'm Gerald, doing the presentation on behalf of PayMob from Accra, Ghana. So straight to the point. We've been in this business of POS solution operations for more than 11 years. And on the market, we've identified certain hitches to bring profitability to our clients, where our clients can be grouped into banks and then merchant service providers. So today we are here to share our innovative solutions with the world and beyond. Okay, so PayMob, as a company, we provide a seamless payment platform with rich interactability for banks and then for merchant service aggregation. Okay, so we say our POS solution comes in two forms. One, the hardware, and then two, the software, which Harold had already mentioned. The hardware, Harold and his company are partners. They provide most of our hardware parts. And then we at PayMob, we provide the software that runs on this payment platform and then the POS. One, our solution has these various features: Stonewall security, a wide spectrum of connectivity from 4G to 3G to 2G, and then the list goes on. Very soon, maybe with the help of Harold, we'll be launching the 5G. Also, we've inculcated the next generation performance into our POS because of the robust nature of what our solution does. It's very important that we would have a hardware that has huge capacity to process all transactions at the same time from the back end. The solution comes with various forms of payment, from tapping, striping, inserting, cash register as well. and it accepts all forms of payment schemes from Visa, Master, Alipay, Samsung Pay, QR code payment, and then the list goes on. The POS, which runs the whole system, comes with an extended battery life because of our understanding of how the retail market works. So if you have a very big shop and you would need an army of POS to work for you at the same time, why don't you invest in rather a smart one that has huge capability of battery lifespan that can stand for like 7 to 9 hours work without charge? Okay. We say our solution is developer friendly because it allows for third-party integration. So for instance, if a merchant or a bank want to deploy their own banking solution to serve as a point of sale, we are able to acquire their own system through an API to integrate into our POS solution. So therefore they can have their individual merchants operate their banking transactions right from the POS. We also understand some merchants by themselves have their own application. So we make our system developer friendly so that each merchant can also run their own application hand in hand with the PayMob application. And thanks to the robust nature of the hardware, it's able to run these separate integrations without hitches, smoothly. The POS comes with data capturing features, which is good for QR code and barcode, and it's captured under the light and fast data capturing feature. If you operate a business where most of your clients come in and they want to transact fast and go, you wouldn't have to, or you wouldn't get an excuse for you to have a POS that delays in capturing data. So for this reason, we've embedded one of the fastest data capturing technologies into this POS that no matter how undetailed the barcode or the QR code is, data can be captured and payments can be done seamlessly. Okay, biometric features also is an added version or an added feature we've introduced onto our POS devices. Now, in certain markets, especially in Africa, where data is sensitive and where innovation is coming up very fast, some card schemes to authenticate payment, you will need to use your thumbprint. And with the help of our partners, we introduced the FBI certified biometric feature to allow card transactions or cash transactions to be approved by the mere use of your thumbprint. So instead of putting in your PIN, you could use your thumbprint to verify payment. We are coming up with more innovative features to use just facial recognition to enhance payment. The design, of course, you can see the POS on the screen, very lovely. It looks good, and it is touch screen. Okay. Why do you choose PayMob as a solution partner? And the answer is very simple. With our rich experience on the market, 11 years, we've understood how the systems operate. From our background in diverse markets all the way from Europe to Africa and Asia and then the Americas, we understand that for a solution to be user-friendly and for a solution to be diverse and robust, we have two ways of deploying it. We either deploy it in your own system in-house, or we get to deploy it in the cloud using our own cloud solution. Of course, this comes with different cost variations depending on which route the host decides to use. This is one solution that supports not just one scheme of operating a POS system. So currently what we have in the market is you find a bank have a POS solution, and they could only use that POS solution or software for just maybe the normal POS, but it cannot integrate into an Android POS, or you cannot integrate into an MPOS, or you cannot integrate into a a soft POS. Our one solution has the capability of integrating into Smartbox, MPOS, all of this in one payment gateway. And again, our solution comes with a cash register. This is the first time everywhere that you have a POS that can record cash transaction. It doesn't happen. We bring to you a POS device and a solution that could record all your card transactions, record all your mobile money transactions, including your cash transaction. And I know this is lovely. I think I've explained this point of an open platform that helps to build and install your own application. Yeah, so. To be in partnership with PayMob, we bring to you certain benefits. And number one of them is the ability to scale up the number of POSs you have over a period of time. Okay, why? So you have about 20 POSs today. You can roll them out through our system and decide to roll another batch over a period of time. Now, this is how this works. Instead of the old version or the old style where you have to bring all the POSs to the office and do the integration, we can remotely do integration of these POS and then deploy them without they necessarily be in the office readily. Also, you can have a user interface to see all transactions on your POS, which usually isn't the case. Currently, what exists in the system is, for most banks, they would have to wait on their processor to send them reports periodically. And in Africa, you would give and take 3 weeks or 2 weeks minimum for a processor to send you transaction list for all card transactions that happen on your POS. But with the help of PayMob, we sit a software in between the bank and then the processor, such that whilst transactions are happening, they are recorded live and sent to you, the merchant, in real time. And it's also sent to the bank in real time. So you can monitor all transactions and have an assessment of daily recordings and weekly recordings before even the processor brings you your figures. Okay, so this is a simple architecture of how our solution works. You could see here a fleet of devices that integrate and communicate with our system. We have a scanner, we have a PIN pad, we have a smart PayMob POS, and then a smart box. Now, something is very interesting about all these figures here, if you can, all the items here, if you can see it. One, unlike the PayMob Smart POS that has in it a PIN pad, I mean a PIN dash, a PIN board for you to key in your PIN, and then it comes with a scanner. You would necessarily have to have all these items separately if you were to use the old POS solution provided by any of our competitors. But thanks to PayMob, you can have one POS machine that comes with a PIN pad, which is not separated. It has a scanner, which is not separated. It has a printer, which is not separated. And it does the same job for you. When transactions are performed in this area, like I said, it goes through the internet, and then you, the admin, before the processor processes the transaction, you, the admin, you are here, whether you are the merchant or the owner of the system, you are able to see transactions in real life. Hence, it gives you more advantage. Second is the merchant who has the POS with him. He can go onto the merchant web portal or at the same time, he's got an application installed on his phone. He could easily go there and verify all transactions. So if I have a shop and I'm not available in the shop, and my attendant at the shop is using the POS to do transactions, just by holding my phone, probably in London or in Accra, I could see all transactions that are happening in my shop without necessarily being there or waiting for my bank to send me detailed reports of transactions that happened. Okay. One major feature about our POS solution is to add the higher speed of data capturing onto the POS, because we understand POS business for most banks is not just about making card transactions, but then they should be able to use their POS to also sell their goods, which hasn't been the case before. Now, we've made it possible. If a merchant is going to use the POS to sell goods, it should be seamless. So there's high speed decoding and coding, high accuracy extension, and then high sensitivity. We have different partners all over the world who have authorized and validated our solution. We have Visa, Master, Apple Pay, GH Link in Ghana, Vodafone Cash, Airtel Tigo Money, and then the list goes on. Now, what is important is once we identify your locality, we are able to add on your local scheme to process your own local transactions. Vodafone Cash and Airtel Tigo only operate mostly in Africa. GH Link is a government-owned proprietary card scheme for just Ghana. In Nigeria, there is Verve, which could be added. Everywhere in the world now, Apple is reigning. Visa and Master is also reigning. Yep. Thank you, Costa. Now, before I end my presentation, I just want to ask one question. If we ever know that between these two animals, the frog and then the frog and then the bat, the frog lives like 10 years lesser than the bat, and then the difference is simple. When the bat sees an opportunity, they just go for it. And we think PayMob is bringing that opportunity using all our software and our solutions. We are inviting our partners to join the party. Thank you.
Thanks, Gerald. Thanks for your presentation. I hope, I think now you can switch off your screen. We are getting closer to our third presenter, who is Alex Romanovs from D8 Corporation. Alex, just to remind to all of you, will tell us the whole picture in regards to the cutting edge technologies of processing solution. Because now we've covered hardware part of card acceptance, then we covered gateway solution and POS host solution there, and we're heading to the processing solution. Alex, please step in and take a part of your presentation.
Yes, thank you, Costa, very much for inviting us, and it's a real pleasure to be here today with all of you. We should do these events more often, obviously, because I think the pandemic will be here for the coming several months still. So maybe we can do another event soon like this. So let me share my screen and let me know, Costa, if you see everything correctly, if it shows correctly.
We see it, yeah.
Yeah, so right now you see full screen, right?
Yes, we do see full screen.
Okay, that's great. So yes, without further ado, let me briefly start with introducing myself, because by no means I am a big industry expert yet, so probably most of you haven't heard about me before. So my name is Alexander Romanov. I'm Chief Marketing Officer of D8 Corporation. And with D8 Corporation, I've been together for about 5 years already. And as a Chief Marketing Officer for about 1.5 years. So it's not a long time that I could call myself like a leading expert that knows everything about payments processing industry. But throughout my 5 years tenure at D8 Corporation, I've seen some things and some shifts in the payments market ecosystem. And that, I believe, makes me qualified enough to present our newest digital payments processing solution to you. So, and also a few words about D8 Corporation, because also at least some of you haven't heard about our company before. So in a nutshell, we are the company who develops and integrates payment software solutions for banks and financial service providers of different kinds. So our typical clients are banks of all sizes, from small local country banks to multinational banking groups, as well as different financial and payment service providers, like stockbrokers, like small e-money institutions, like payment processors, like national switches, domestic card schemes that are building their own issuing and acquiring processing infrastructure, and so on. So I will not dive into too many details about our clients and reference list. I believe that because we have a short amount of time and a lot of material that I have to present today. So if any of you is interested, we can just talk privately, and I will be happy to tell you more about the solution itself, as well as about references that are specific to the business case that you are interested in. And we work in 28 countries around the world, but if you come from Latin America or Asian part, there is a lesser chance that you have heard about us before, because on those markets we haven't been so active yet, but we will get there. So we are mostly working currently with clients in the CIS region, in Central Eastern Europe, in European Union, as well as the Middle East. And we've been in this business for 18 years. And we started actually as an integrator company working with large payments processing vendors, global billion-dollar companies, integrating their payment processing solutions. So we know firsthand how much of a hassle can integration job be between different kind of legacy systems that might be in the payments infrastructure. So, and that unique perspective and experience gave us unique insights that we used when we started developing our own payment processing solution. And in terms of employees, we have 80 people in total in 4 offices: Latvia, Russia, Ukraine, Belarus. R&D and development is located in Latvia and Belarus. So with that said, let's have a few minutes and talk about the history, how we got to the digital world that we live in today. Because if you look back at the non-cash payments, cash payments were for thousands of years, right? But non-cash payments, the history is not that old. It dates back a little over 100 years. And if we look at the history, then in early 1800s, there was a first kind of representation of a credit card that called charge plate, metal piece of plate that was issued for a specific customer by a specific store, and customer basically could make purchases on credit using this charge plate. This idea later evolved into the credit network, the first of which being Diners Club, which used the same principle, only uniting multiple different small businesses on one network. So with Diners Club card, for example, you could go to hundreds of different restaurants around the United States at the time, in the early 50s, and pay for your lunch on credit and just settle the outstanding payment balance at the end of the month. And so from that idea, the credit card industry was born, and in the later 50 years, the credit card technology substantially evolved into many different card products, many different security technologies, but it always revolved around the one single card as a medium of making payments, right? And that was up until 2015, where the first successful acceptance of the digital card form came to market with a technology called HCE. It was in early 2015, HCE technology became officially accepted by Visa and MasterCard in their networks. And so it shifted the market and opened a new digital era in which a customer could have not only one physical card as a medium of making payments, but a whole bunch of digital cards that are dispersed among many different smart devices, such as smartphones, smartwatches, wristbands, etc. And this unlocked the new potential value that payment processing companies could now offer to the end users that are using the payment services. But if we look at the attitude of payments technology vendors today, not all vendors recognize this change. And here is a little example of the similar situation that happened before with an iPhone in 2007. 2007, Steve Jobs launched the first app-based mobile phone in the world, which idea was remarkably simple, that you can use a mobile phone as a platform for developing multiple apps that will be used by third-party users and developers. Third-party developers could develop apps of different kinds to cater to different users. And at that time, leading mobile technology manufacturers, they just disregarded the idea, thinking, yeah, this will be a nice, cool pet project, but it will never go mainstream. And so, but today we see that 13 years later, we see that altogether these companies have less than 10% of the market share, while smartphone became the new norm. And in 2015, when HCE technology launched, payment processing companies, their attitude towards this idea was similar. Yes, it will be cool, nice feature that will have some audience, maybe some initial set of couple of percentage of users, but it will never become something mainstream, something that many people will use. But what happened in the next 5 years, from 2015 to 2020 to now? I took this statistic from the Netherlands market, because Netherlands market, in terms of contactless infrastructure, acceptance is one of the leading in the world. And of course, you cannot use smart devices for making payments if you don't have a really nice developed acceptance infrastructure. So we can see that 2015, early 2015, it was 1.4% of users of payment cards in the Netherlands used contactless for making payments. But in 2020, we see over 70% of users use NFC technology for making payments on the Netherlands market. And these are not only contactless cards that are issued in a physical form, these are also a large chunk of these percentages are payments made with smart devices. So we can clearly see that trend is going towards digital, and digital is becoming the new norm, slowly, but it is becoming. And in the next 10 years, probably 30 to 40% of transactions all around the world would be made by smart devices. And so with that kind of perspective in mind, when we started developing our Gate2Bank processing platform, we built it for the 21st century digital world, which is a digital native, and we use one of our key advantages is using digital native approach to solution design, meaning that we put mobile payments made with smart devices as a default first medium of payment. And of course, we also support existing payments made with payment cards and ensure backwards compatibility with current payments infrastructure. And another advantage is that because everything is going into the digital space is known for its rapid expansion, transformation, and kind of chaotic environment. And so in this environment, you cannot rely on the standard infrastructures or architectures, sorry, of payment solutions that many other vendors offer, like dominating SOA architecture that was born in the 90s, right? You need something much more scalable and adaptable to rapid changes on the marketplace. And so that's why we use microservices architecture for our processing solution. And another two key things is that today many payments processing platform vendors, because they haven't recognized this shift that now you have to simultaneously support both physical channels as well as digital channels, and many digital channels, not only one of them. And so that's why you can find a lot of payments processing solution vendors that cater to the old world, that offer, yes, acceptance of ATM transactions, acceptance of POS transactions. All of these functionality is integrated into their platform, but they do not offer anything to e-commerce part for e-commerce merchants, and vice versa. So we support both worlds simultaneously, both on the acquiring side as well as on the issuing side. And I will get to the architecture of our solution in the moment and explain in a little more detail. The completely unique capability of our company is to offer tokenization capabilities for in-house cards. If you have a domestic schema, like we work, for example, in Uzbekistan market, we work with local schema called Humo. In Russia, there is a local scheme called Mir. In Libya, there is Numo, local card scheme. And so if you want to create digital payment services for these domestic schemas, you cannot rely on tokenization services provided by Visa and MasterCard. You have to have your own. And not that many companies have them. In fact, I researched all of the top 10 biggest processing solution vendors. None of them offers in-house cards tokenization capability integrated within their payments processing solution. So this is something that we can offer as well as flexible deployment options, both on premises and in the cloud. I will get to that in a couple of minutes. So now we'll switch to the platform overview. Again, this is a short presentation. That's why I will briefly touch the modules that our solution includes. But if you have a specific business case that you would like to discuss, we can, after this webinar, you can contact me. You will receive these slides with my contacts, and feel free to contact me, and we will be happy to discuss your business case in more detail, how we can adapt this platform to your particular case. But in short, everything is built around the gate-to-bank processing core, which in its essence is authorization and switching engine for initiating and accepting different kinds of financial messages, as well as routing the transaction flow between all of these different modules that are built as microservices around the core. So if you have an existing application in your infrastructure that is based on SOA architecture, we can integrate this core using Enterprise Service Bus with your existing application as well. Of course, it supports a set of REST APIs to connect them if you already use microservices in the architecture across your own applications that you need to integrate this processing with. And from there, when we have integrated this core, we can connect using REST APIs these different services that we need to the core. And the beauty of the microservice architecture allows us flexible deployment of all of these different components because they are completely independent. We can deploy some of these components in the cloud, we can deploy core somewhere on premises, and we can deploy other set of components, let's say, on a different cloud platform. So this flexibility is one of the biggest advantages that microservices architecture provides. And so if we look at the connections to the payments ecosystems, of course, we support online interfaces based on standard ISO 8583, as well as REST web services. We have ready-to-use interfaces for connection with Visa and MasterCard, as well as customizable ISO interface that you can adapt to connect to other hosts in the payments network. Private processing engines, domestic ones, or other payment processing networks such as JCB or Amex. We have modules for connecting physical devices for acquiring both ATM and POS devices, as long as they support standard methods of generating messages via ISO or REST web service protocols. We can connect them and operate them from here. Then we have e-commerce gateway that allows us to integrate payments forms into different merchant sites and acquire card not present transactions through this e-commerce gateway, as well as we have our own 3D secure components for both issuing side and acquiring side to ensure secure authentication of e-commerce transactions. Added value of this e-commerce is merchant acquiring portal that is a graphical web-based application that allows merchants who are connected through this gateway to see all the analytics on their business, how many transactions were processed, what commissions were paid on which transactions, generate printed reports by the month or by the week, etc. So all of these can be accessed by the merchants themselves through this merchant acquiring portal. Then on the issuing side, we have CMS system, of course, that allows cards issuing, and it supports issuing of debit, credit, prepaid card products, as well as it supports all the standard technologies of cards, Max Stripe, EMV, and contactless. It also has built-in module for managing revolving credit accounts, as well as installment credit payments. And it has, of course, functionality for preparation of personalization files, exporting them to production, and producing plastic cards that you can send to your customers as one of the payments mediums. But if you want to use full capabilities of our platform and you want to offer digital cards and ability to pay with smart devices to your customers, then you connect this tokenization engine, which is certified by Visa and MasterCard for VTS and MDES cloud tokenization services use, as well as it offers tokenization for in-house private cards. And from here, with tokenization engine, automatically comes mobile SDK that allows you to hand out this SDK to any of your client, if you're a processing company, to any of your clients that will use this SDK to integrate payments functionality into their existing mobile applications, like mobile banks or existing mobile wallets. If you want to build your own mobile wallet for storing cards and making payments, we have also issuer wallet module that consists of wallet management server, as well as we will build a customer-facing mobile application according to your design and specifications. And if you want to integrate with giant pay systems like Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, and Google Pay, we also have ready-to-use integrations with them to put your digitized cards into their wallets. And of course, all the standard features of the processing system, back office standard features of the processing system, like loyalty, like fraud prevention, like reporting engine, they are also supported. And for administration, we have one conflated web-based dashboard that allows you to manage all of these different modules from one centralized space. So, and in terms of deployment, like I mentioned before, so we can do on-premises. This is standard method of deployment that all vendors offer. But our microservices architecture allows us to do hybrid deployment and cloud native deployments also. So in hybrid deployment, for example, if you have legislation of your country of operations prescribes you to hold all all systems that hold customers' data in-house, we can, for example, deploy CMS part in your infrastructure and put everything else somewhere in the cloud, somewhere in Amazon Web Services or some third-party data center in the European Union, in Denmark, for example, or in Riga. We have also excellent quality data centers. So it's, again, up to each individual client how we deploy this solution. And just to finish up, I will not spend a lot of time here, but if you're interested, here is a technology stack of the main technologies that we use throughout our company for development. Yeah, so you can check it out at the slides when you will receive them after the presentation. So thank you. I'm done.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Alex. It was definitely a good presentation, especially around all of these microservices, because if you'd like to talk to a person who definitely understands the landscape, especially in regards to PSD2 and all of these GDPR and open banking issues, I think this is exactly a good solution to employ. Because personally, I have many friends who tried to build something solid, but I think by using your white label solution with partially hosted on their premises and the core as a cloud server based on your, I believe, PCI certified instances, it's definitely a good option. Thank you for all three key speakers. I would say I've got quite a few questions to each of you, but because of our timing, I decided to go with 1-2 questions per each speaker. Let me, guys, start with Hartis, because he was drinking tea during our session. And I think he will be very happy to answer some questions. So Harald, I've got 2 nice questions for you. So the first one, at your very initial slides, you mentioned that a part of your Iceno mother company, you do have e-tax system as one of your product. Could you tell us, please, is this system somehow related to point of sale terminals? Is this about fiscalization system? What is it about, especially your e-tax system?
Okay, so I just answer your question in 2 parts. The first one is about how our mother company, Iceno Corporation, do the physical business. And the second is about how we integrate our POS and do the business abroad. The first one is actually Iceno, they are focused on the system, the physical system, and they establish a whole system for for example, here in China market, they cooperate with the tax bureau here and create the whole system for the nation, because after all, it's a state-owned enterprise. And for this platform, and how to say, it not only based on the server side, but also on the front side about the hardware. So in China, sometimes they also integrate with the POS, with our POS, integrate with the payment, and the physical tax. And now in some of the provinces in China here, we already promoted into the market. This is why the Isino Corporation merged us. This because they want to have a very huge visions that to integrate the payment and the physical together, in case that some merchant they avoid about the tax. And the second is how they do the international market. Currently, they already succeeded into, as I know, at least 2 countries, and help their government to create the physical platform. The first one is about in Tanzania, and the second one is in the Uganda, and they cooperate with the tax bureau and create the whole system. And also now they are also promoted the front part, which integrate with the hardware. Actually, they also use our hardware, Vanstone hardware, to collect the tax. This is how I know they do the business. And for Vanstone, actually, mostly we only focus on the front side, actually, to do the integrate with. For example, in the Russian market, we integrate our POS, our smart POS terminal A90 integrate with their local physical chip. So through this ways and connect with also our partners platform, so they can record the tax and belong along with the payment. We already succeeded and cooperate with Sberbank from Russia and do the business. And in other countries like Tanzania and Uganda, we also already succeeded to integrate their local physical chip with ours. And in Armenia, Armenia, they don't have their local physical chip, but we also already integrate their system to our hardwares and also succeeded to cooperate with the tax bureau there. And this is how we do this, how to integrate with the tax and payment together.
I see.
Yeah.
Thanks. And one more question for you from our viewer, Edward. He was asking, does any of your point of sale terminal conduct any biometrical payments? I think he is asking about fingerprint payments and even maybe about facial recognition payments. Could you tell a little bit more about these opportunities of your machines?
Yeah. Actually, now I think as Jerry also said that we already installed the biometric into our smart POS terminal A90, and we have actually 2 models of the biometric reader. One is comply with the FBI certification, and the one without, because some banks or the client, they are very sensitive about the price. If they don't care about the features so much, we can provide the cheap one. But if they care about the features, we can provide the FBI certified biometric. And the second, the second,
yeah, go on.
Yeah. Okay, I think let us finish the biometric matter. Maybe I will go for the facial recognition reader. So now we created a new model, actually, because I didn't add into my presentation. Now, actually, we already have one model. We call it F10 and A100. And this smart POS terminal is also based on the Qualcomm and around the Android 7, and to integrate with the facial recognize readers. And we already cooperated with our local bank here, the UniPay, and already put it into the market, at least the domestic market now currently. But I think maybe later this year we'll put it into the overseas market, so you can see our new product about the facial features.
Good. So simply talking, the answer is yes. Isino does have terminals that accept and could work with biometrical payments. Yeah, good to know. I've got a question for Gerald as well. Gerald, one of our participant was asking you to tell a little bit more about tap on phone solution, or also you called it soft POS. Could you give a little bit more details about the technology?
Okay, thank you, Costa, and thanks to our participant that asked the question. Okay, so nowadays, because of PayMob and our rich understanding of how the POS business work and how expensive a venture sometimes it can be for not just banks but then merchants, we somewhere this year developed this new software solution called the Tap on Phone, where we intend to turn every smartphone that has NFC capability into a POS machine. What this means is, for a merchant or for a bank, this could be done white label. And by just downloading or getting your merchant or anybody to download an application from the Play Store or the bank's website, they can literally turn their smartphone into a POS machine and accept all forms of payment. This new solution is going to cut down on the cost of getting to acquire a new POS terminal, because sometimes it's quite expensive and it's quite an a venture that most banks shy away from. So this is like an alternative, and this is where the future is actually going. You just get to accept payments with your phone, proprietarily belonging to a merchant, service provider, or to a bank. Basically, this is it.
Good. Thanks for this. One more simple question before I will move to Alex's question. Gerald, could you tell our audience a little bit about how card data protected when the card presented at the machine? How your EFT POS system, your POS host, protects the data of the card?
Okay, so prior to this, like I said, our system is PCI certified, and what this means is we have robust technology to ensure that transactions that happens between a phone and then the card is encrypted, transferred between the processor safely, and then no information is hacked. So we have our software seated on the phone, and then it collaborates with the bank processor. Now, one funny thing that also happens between these processes is this. We can have one POS machine transaction being hosted or being routed to different processors. It means if I use my card to do a transaction on a PayMob Smart POS or a PayMob terminal, okay, let's say it's an American Express card. One POS through our technology can route the transaction, see which processor has the cheapest margin, okay, and then charges the card, ensuring a certain integrity when it comes to the data, and also fairness when it comes to competitive advantage, not just to the bank and also to the merchant. I don't know if I answered your question correctly, Costa.
Yeah. I would say it's my question. I just gathering the best questions from many sources. Yeah, thank you for this explanation. I would say I have the last question for our Q&A session for Alex. I would say personally, I joined the question. It's because it's about national payment systems. Because as you mentioned, you do have a project in Uzbekistan and in a couple of more countries. But for instance, in Ghana, Gerald has their own payment system and payment scheme. It's called GH Link Z Pay and Z Cash, something like this, as I remember correct.
Which?
Yeah,
okay.
but
so send me the name, please. I want to
no,
remember it.
it's not about the name, because let's say
Okay,
in France, there are their own CD payment scheme like existing, yeah. Or for instance, if you would like to consider Saudi Arabia, you will find their own MADA card for the local market. Could you dig a little bit deeply into how your potential customers, how banks you're providing your services with, could easily adopt and integrate with national, with very local payment systems. It's because we have as I see a list of participants, we have people from the South America, a few people from some African countries. I think almost every single country has own national payment system, and I think it's the biggest question mark. How is your like a foreign system could be easily integrated with the national payment system?
Okay, so let me maybe switch back to the presentation real quickly and to the architecture part, because it will help me to explain. So, okay, first we need to understand whether we're talking about a service or a platform. So to be real clear, we ourselves, we are not a payment service provider. We are not a company that provides issuing and acquiring services to banks. Like, for example, Nets in the Northern Europe, they service several Nordic banks, or Worldline, which operates in the Baltics market, as well as other markets in the world. We offer the solution itself. So if our client, a bank, wants to build its own processing engine for issuing cards, as well as acquiring cards of some existing domestic schema, then when we deploy the Gate-to-Bank processing core, we have customized online interfaces based on ISO 85 standard or web service REST standard. So if these local payment systems, what type of messaging they use, if they use completely custom type of messaging protocol, okay, it's doable, but this will require custom work. If they are using this industry standard ISO 8583 to communicate financial messages between hosts, we can easily deploy the core and integrate with as many hosts as we need to acquire transactions from them, right? And from there, then on the issuing part, if we issue domestic cards, the process of cards issuing do not change from the international payment schemes. The only difference here would be if you want to digitize cards, because if you want to digitize cards, then for domestic schemas, you should use in-house tokenization engine that requires additional things like in-house HSM modules for ensuring all the encryption of the digital cards, all the storing all the encryption data, storing all the cryptograms, doing all the validations during the authorization process. If you do with international schemas for digital cards, all of these tokenization features are taken care of by Visa and MasterCard and other payment networks.
I see. Thanks, Alex. You can.
Okay, my pleasure.
I think we're glad to hear your answers and clarification on these questions. Now it's my time to say a big thank you for all our viewers and listeners. Hope to see you at our next webinar. And my really big thank you for our speakers, Gerald, Harold, and Alex. We hope to see you as our speakers and further webinars. I wish you all the best. Have a great week, working week, and nice weekend. See you next time. Thank you, guys.
Hi, Jerry. Jerry, you can hear me? How are you these days? You're mute. It's mute. Oh, you are.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Really
Wow.
nice.